Welcome everybody back to Tattooing Out Loud podcast. I'm back from a recent family workation trip to Minnesota. While I was out there, did some work, so I figured we'd do this little filler episode. What I did take a vacation from was a lot of the noise, the social news, stuff like that. You still have to respond and connect with clients. Therefore, there's different platforms that they reach out to you, whether it's text message, email, a lot of the Instagram, the DMs, which by the way is how you can book with me. Some of the news that usually gets tossed your way whenever you open a social media platform, you kind of get hit with this trending topic or like what's going on in today's world and whatnot. As soon as we landed and I really started to get back into the groove of things and, fighting the jet lag or fighting the exhaustion of the trip, I do like to know the current state of the industry, whether there's something new being introduced or my peers are doing up to date or current things that they're working on. It's always dope to see that. The next episode I'm about to release, which is one of the ones that I've shot out there in Minnesota, they actually educated me on a new product. It's an eco-friendly shop. They introduced this company to me called Good Judy. Shout out to Good Judy. I will just give you their mission statement. They stand by the whole eco-friendly, most biodegradable products and parts in the industry. They're really trying to, less waste. They're very on ball with all that. And so they shine light on Good Judy. This is the company. It's tattooer owned, sustainable products. And it looks like the range of the things that they carry is also a lot of the common things that we need as far as equipment. The way they explain it to me is that a lot of their products are biodegradable and they just fully believe in that. The less waste and the most productive work environment, productivity that they got going on, that's kind of like their mission, which I thought that was cool. He told me, he's like, make sure you shout them out. Let's try to get, because they're trying to make it easier for this company from Canada to be able to supply or have some sort of a hub in the US. The only downside for him was the shipping issue. And so he's trying to make it more convenient for them to have a hub here in the US so that they can get the supplies easier and they can get the environmental friendly, biodegradable stuff that is commonly used. It's like our day-to-day stuff by tattooers for tattooers, but he's trying to make it a mission to get them into the US. If you're an artist tapping in, check them out. When I release the next episode, you'll hear what he says towards the end is leave this world in a better shape than how he found it. He wants to do his part in less waste, and he wants to do his part in like this contribution to the planet. And not even if you want to think small scale, he just wants to contribute into his own area, the local area, Minnesota, and try to have a lot of artists. This shop that I'm about to introduce in this the next episode, which by the way, make sure to like and subscribe. More so subscribe so that you don't miss out. It's a really good talk. It's an indigenous group. They are all tribal members. There was a lot of information and a lot of education that I received from these guys. They have a nonprofit attached to the tattoo shop. So when you walk right outside of it, there's Ink Shelf is the name of the nonprofit. And it's rad what they are doing there. They're doing meetings, reads. They're doing a lot of art nights, which is cool to see. A lot of gathering of a lot of artists, whether it's graffiti, whether it's like live painting. They have music, poetry reading, flea market vibe where they do this outside sale. On the inside, they'll have like a youth night or whatever, or a youthful artist day. They got a lot going on over there. And I just feel like it's cool that in that community, in that area of Minnesota, he really wants to have everyone almost being on board with environmental conscious life, which I thought it was cool. I never really, it was cool to hear his mindset and the community that he's trying to build in that area. I thought that was pretty rad. Labubus blew up. It's crazy. 2 weeks, they were starting to become what now are like even grandmas have Labubus on their purses. That's pretty wild. I didn't even know what the hell it was until I actually started to see, again, other peers post pictures or videos of them tattooing these little vinyl dolls faces. And I'm like, that's a thing now. With a lot of the guys that I've had here on the podcast, I feel like a lot of the stuff that the artists and I have talked about that comes up in conversation is AI. What I'm about to say in this next topic is from clients and guys that I've had on the podcast, somehow the conversation goes into that path of AI has been just evolving, but I feel like it's always been, there's a certain breakthrough into the industry that AI had. I'd like to hear the opinions of artists, and I would like to even ask them, where do they think was the first introduction of AI into the industry, whether it was at a convention or if it was themselves? When was their first time that they started using an iPad? Process of creating designs. Like looking back at a lot of the previous episodes that I've had with the other artists, I've witnessed and worked side by side with a lot of the guys that I've had on the podcast. And I would see whether it was in the hotel room when we're out of state or at the convention. I've seen the artists sit there at the booth working on a clipboard, like hand stenciling their next design, hand stenciling the flash that they have out before the thermofax machine was often used. The convention themselves, like the guys that are throwing the convention, sometimes they'll have literally like a stencil booth by the print station, right? I think it'd be interesting to hear what was their first experience using technology, really using the tech with tattoos. Because now what we did is we saw the evolution from let's print this paper out or like photocopy something out of a flash book, that you're at a convention, you have your setup, you have your booth, and you have all this flash designs you created. And let's be real, guys, you probably did that same flash, right? You probably did that tattoo like on Saturday. If you tattooed that flash Friday, next day another guy comes up, he's like, I like that same eagle you just did yesterday. He didn't know you did it yesterday, but you're like, I'm about to sell it, I'm about to flip it. Shout out to all my boys out there that are on their grind. But I do know those artists that will throw that design away and they'll say, I'm only doing this original piece that I did. I'm gonna do this tattoo on, this walk up at a convention, or if I'm at the shop, I'm gonna do I'm tattooing this, and only this person, that comes back down to like the tradition of things, right? So whenever I tattoo this piece of flash that I designed, that I drew up, that's it. I'm throwing it away, or the client could keep that flash stencil, and I'm not ever gonna tattoo it ever again. When you would purchase a flash book from an artist, a lot of the designs in the beginning, there'd be like a disclaimer. Most of these designs have already been tattooed, going back to like the whole giving someone their credit, right? So I thought that was cool that they would kind of give that little bit of this is just things that I've done. This is all copies of all the stencils that I've collected. So a lot of these that have been tattooed, if you do it, at least like hit me up or something before, or I don't know, a lot of artists had different, views on that. So these guys are about to do this flash, right? You're at the convention, your booth is all set up, and a guy would go to the print station at the convention, or they would just take already pre-stenciled designs from the shop, because maybe they had a thermofax machine, and back like the original first ones weren't as compact and portable. It was like, taking you around a fax machine, that's literally like the size or the weight. I've had this conversation before with a few artists that have come onto the podcast. They're like, when we first started, I mean, I learned the hard way. I used to travel with the printer, and when I get there, the printer would maybe last arrival to the location, but it wouldn't make it back because it's just going to get destroyed, right? Unless you're going to walk around with a printer in the airport. Most times though, we would get to the location, go to the nearest Best Buy or whatever, and go purchase a printer there. We're like able to use a legit printer and set it up at the convention. We're going through the whole setup process, like brand new ink cartridges and everything. And then we would return it. May or may not have returned it. We're thinking if we have it at our station, then it saves time. And if there's 8 of us or 12 of us in a booth, or only 2 or 4, whatever, we have our own printer at our disposal. We're able to draw the flash on paper, photocopy it, stencil it. That process got trimmed down from iPad to a ready to go stencil. So it just like cut all those steps down. You see, that was an evolution from that, right? Let's talk about the tradition of like our machines. The coil machine, electricity jackhammer of a tool. People then introduced the rotary motor side by side with it, to then starting to see the RCA cord. Now, the first time I saw RCA cord was working on like speakers, right? Car systems. like the car stereos and stuff. They got a 1/4 inch plug in to your power supply, and on the other end, RCA connector that will connect to the back of the machine. And it was nice, and I even felt like it lasted for the most part. I'm trying to think now if it there's I believe there are some times that, but if a cable ever gave out, we ran it over with our chair or the way we store it while traveling. I think traveling destroyed a lot of our stuff. I think that's how, a lot of machine builders were creating their own cables. Like, shout out Al Brody. Al Brody had created these like indestructible cables, but they were like thick, weighted cables. I remember that cable was a solid cable. There's an evolution of everything. Now, it went from power supply to battery packs that were first introduced or with an RCA input so that you can run that into your rotary tattoo machine. Now, battery packs, that was like the great we discovered fire moment for a lot of us. Now, again, I'm just speaking into like my own observation and like my own experiences with these artists when I'd say, oh, so and so supplier has these battery packs, and they weren't your, the Bishop B charge. It was more of a off brand 5 clicks for different voltage. And even our power supplies had an evolution of change, right? So you get my point. The batteries went from this generic to the specific companies making it for their machines. An example, most recently, I started using the FK Irons Flux Max, the Bishop Power Wand, and the Critical Torque. You want to talk about AI? These battery packs now have an AI assistance in the battery pack itself. So it has its own little program battery where you can mess with the recoil or the give of the machine. I mean, these are mini computers. The Critical Torque, you can put your hour rate on there. So it actually times your session. If you have it programmed to your hour rate, which that's subjective nowadays, it'll then at the end of your session, when you feel like you're done, you put the machine down, right? Because if you take a break or if you have to switch cartridges, more paper towels, refill ink caps, whatever the case, that was the first time I ever saw a actual timer on a battery. The battery will literally have your session overall time and will do the math for you so that it would say, with your rate per hour, here is your total cost of your session. There you go. We've been having this AI, we've been having this some sort of technology in our industry. Again, if you used the rotaries and pens, the pen itself is just a motor, right? Like the tattoo machine that is a coil. There's no electricity running through it, so therefore it's just wound up coils. Until you run electricity through your coils, it therefore works. Same thing. The rotary machines is just a motor without its battery or without its power supply. Where the battery packs are today, that has been around for a while, but they have just improved and added these mini softwares in these battery packs. So we've always had them. Same thing with the power supplies. Icon had a power supply that you can do the same thing, where you can put in your hour rate. The digital power supplies did have that tech of what the batteries have now. But now let's think about the size. These battery packs are literally at the end of the tattoo machine, the pen. They trimmed all that the same way we trimmed the printer usage in the beginning, down to a very practical way of using your tattoo machine, your rotary. I mean, am I wrong? Is that AI? You can't update the software on your battery pack. Maybe. I haven't looked that far into it. I'm sure if there's some sort of update, that would be wild. Now that I think about it, I don't know. You get what I'm trying to have, that parallel, the comparison, right? The tech was already introduced into the industry and it just evolved. So now, point being, let me pull this up, a screenshot that I have so that we can get into it. So with clients and artists, this has been conversation. Oh, look, there's a barcode. That's still cracking. Barcode tattoos. There you go. That was the thing. And looks like it's still a thing. Someone just got a barcode tattoo of a Red Bull can. Why not? Trying to scan it with the same arm was crazy. Robot tattoos. Let's get into it. Oh, Robot Tattoos has its own website. See, this is all new to me now. And if you are, some of you listening may not have even known this, maybe have heard or we joke around about it because this is a thing now, right? We're rolling with it. We're rolling with this AI. So, this whole talk on robot tattoos, yes, they're in the industry. To me, it's real when to see this actual system in a shop. What are your thoughts on that? That's always something that clients ask me and I ask them, I'm like, okay, would you get tattooed by this kiosk? Right. And I'm like, it looks like a fridge. It legit looks like an appliance in your house. So you can have it at your house. Wake up in the morning, go get your coffee while you're reading or whatever you do in the morning. You sit down, put your arm at the edge of your coffee table in your kitchen, and here you roll up your new robot tattoo appliance. You get a tat before you go to work. How long it takes, I'm not sure. I really would like to. They have a video of a person getting it done. I'd like to see the actual full process of it. So far, here's the catch, and this is what I've seen. You still have an artist applying the stencil, and it looks like they are almost confirming the map or the grid system for this robot to know where it's going, where it's trailing. You gotta, these guys using it. Now, again, I don't know what's going on. I do not know. Disclaimer, I do not know what's going on. I don't know. I just see, okay, there's an artist applying the stencil that has some sort of grid, which to me looks like a CNC cutter, like you're working on AutoCAD or something, for those of you that know or are familiar with it. I know that there's talk of designs programmed into the machine, but this specific machine that I'm looking at, which seems that this is going to be like a company, it's going to mass produce it, it's going to have it everywhere, right? This machine is following a grid from whatever stencil you print. So there's still a lot of like, the artist has. Now I sound like I'm for it. I'm not saying I'm not, but because this has been a conversation, I've asked clients, would you get it tattooed? Will the robot know when to let off the gas? You have an involuntary twitch and you're able to, pull the machine off. Does it know how to do that? I have a lot of questions. I have questions for this company. There's still a lot of human steps. Looks like this is for the prepping, and you can't just sit down. This specific robot, you can't go up to it and you can't just choose design A through Z and that's the one, sit down and it's just going to go to town. It's still following some sort of grid. It's still following, and the area that it's covering is not bigger than it looks. The design that it does is just like a small, for this video example, but they do have something where it looks a little more elaborate. There's like a tiger portrait, which it's only half a tiger face. Did it not have enough range to do the other half? Do you have to come back to get the second half done? How does that work? I have questions. It looks like if you want to get half a portrait of an animal, you can come back later, but it printed out the area of the coverages doesn't look that great of a distance, right? The range doesn't look that wide, doesn't seem to be able to adjust or adapt to the curvature of the skin. Or what if this person lost a lot of weight and there's a lot of stretch, the elasticity of the skin on an area where it is a little more stretchy and it is a little more, there's a lot of questions. So far, it looks like it's doing a lot of minimalistic, simplistic stuff, some lettering. Again, it has like it looks like a comic book strip. This would be a great investment if you have, let me backtrack a little bit. I feel like this is a novelty thing. Do you think it'll take off, right? So let's say they're going to start putting these across the board. It's a company. I'm assuming you're going to have to buy it outright, put it in payments. Is this like a car dealership kind of thing where you're purchasing this vehicle and it has warranty and it has an oil change every so often? How many tattoos before it gets an oil change? I have questions. What happens when you have to maintenance it? What do you do? Is it just a tub of ink? Can it only do black and gray? I don't see any color. The response and feedback of the community and tattoo collectors, it's all over the place. Some people are genuinely curious. How long has it been healed? This is obviously a new thing, so we're not going to be able to see a lot of the aging like we were able to see 10 years ago, 15 years ago. A lot of tattoos that we've done maybe 10 years ago or that I've done 10 years ago, you can see now. This robot, I'm going to have to tap in with the robot later and its clients to be like, give me your survey. 1 through 5, where how's the pain? How do you feel? How's your tattoo? How do you touch that up if it needs a touch up? How do you align it with the grid and the nozzle? There's a lot of stuff going on with these robots. I've heard artists say when people started entertaining this idea that shops are starting to use it, I think there was only a handful of locations that had it when it first got introduced. And artists were like, "Are we worried?" Nah, we're not worried. It's not going to get, and I get it, but now it's here, right? Ships landed, the robots are in the shops. The robot can drive you to work. Now you can have a robot pick you up from your house, take you to the shop, have another robot tattoo you, and then just get that same robot to take you back home. I see it as a novelty thing. I just see it as like, let's go to get a tattoo. Let's go get these tattoos in Vegas. Let's go get this tattoo because we're in Hollywood. The walk-in shops. There's an audience for it, and there is a tattoo collector out there that is maybe not your client as an artist. And this is why I say this, because no, I'm not like, I'm all about upkeeping and trying to keep this whole, there's like the sacred thing of tradition with tattoos, right? There's this tradition. A lot of us has started from this traditional way of getting into it for the most part. Some friends of mine that I've spoken to that I've had on the podcast, they have had for the most part a similar introduction into tattooing, or they went through a similar process where there was a step to getting to where they are, or they took X, Y, and Z kind of a journey. This is the path that led into this, like in the industry, and they've been tattooing back to the time when I first explained sitting down with the clipboard and your design, stenciling that next tattoo that you're about to work on. And they themselves now use iPads, or I would say, again, there's still a few guys that I'm thinking in my head that I know, I don't want to call them old fashioned, but they have that's their system. That's the way that they do their tattoo process and creative design and creative process. They stick to, this is the way I do it, so why change it? I'm gonna, to this day, print out my paper, hand stencil this. But they still do use tech in their process, in their setup, in the tattooing side of it. Maybe they will use like those battery packs that have the little software in there, the little computers in those, in the battery pack for their machine. They aren't using coils anymore. Now they switched over to rotary, right? Okay, so you get it. Maybe not your client is interested in getting a tattoo by a robot, but more so intrigued to see the process and go visit if they're walking at a convention. And what do we do? What's your thought? You walk into a convention, and I'm curious to hear. You're walking through these aisles, you're seeing all the shops, and all of a sudden you end up in this Cybertron area where there's nothing but these kiosks of robots and an assistant next to every single robot tattoo machine. This robot tattoo machine that is there. I can't believe I called it a tattooer. I'm not going to call it a tattooer. You see, I'm still like, it's a tug of war. I'm not with it. I'm not against it. I'm just like, this is entertaining. To me, this is like, it's one of those things where, are you going to rage against the machine? Are you going to, it's someone's hustle. You know what I mean? Someone that created this robot, that's their hustle. I'm not with it. I'm not against it. You're at this convention and you walk in and you see these machines on the other side of the convention center. Because then again, here's my thought, right? I feel like they're going to implement these at some point. This is a new thing. This is the next, back in the day, the as seen on TV. This is the trend. This is the new thing, right? This is the new introduction where we are today. At the other side of the convention center, there's these kiosks. You walk by. Now wouldn't you be curious to go check it out? Or are you going to stay away and just not even, I don't even want to meddle. I don't want to play with that Ouija board. You know what I'm saying? I would like to go and I would ask the questions. I would go up to them and I'm curious. Where's your business card? Do you have stickers? I want a sticker of your robot tattoo. I collect stickers. I go by everywhere and I get the sticker from all my peers or new artists that all, you make a connection. You exchange information, right? Hey, you got a business card? Oh, these stickers? Yeah, go ahead and take a sticker if you want. I'll take a sticker. They got shirts. They got a they got a robot tattoo shirt. They've got merch, guys. Robot tattoos, the Aero, AERO. Look it up. Artist enabled robotic operator. There you go. It's an Aero. The only commercial robotic tattoo device. New York City, appointments available now. Bang Bang is using it. So they have the designs. This is wild. I'm going to go up to them. I'm going to talk to the people that are operating it. I want information. Let me get some info on it. Let's go check out their website, huh? I'm going to talk to the operator. How does this work? I'm genuinely curious. Does it have its own? How do you make an appointment? Okay, like, let's see here what we got. Yeah, Aero is, you can book with Aero on the website of Bang Bang. Again, I'm not throwing shade for the record, but you can, Aero has its own tab. So you can go on their website and just make an appointment with Aero. Aero has an, I hope I'm saying it right. To me, it sounds like it's Aero, right? Aero? AERO. It has a portfolio. Okay. It has a portfolio. It has example of its work. It has merch. You want an Aero shirt? You want a sticker? Hey, give me a business card. All right, $10 for the shirt. Give me a shirt. No, actually, keep the shirt. I don't, because again, I'm on the fence. I don't support it. I'm not, but give me a sticker. So, all right, make an appointment with Aero. I'm not going to make an appointment right now, but I'm curious. I'm going through the process how you can. So, if you're in New York, you can go in and get tattooed by Aero. You put your info, phone number, and I'm assuming it'll get broken down on how this works. But therefore, yeah. All right. Aero is going to be at the conventions, guys. I guarantee you. If that hasn't happened already, it's coming. There. What do you do? What are your thoughts on that? Now, what are your thoughts that Aero's more busier than you? I don't know. It's kind of a hard one, right? Now, for those that are like, I'll go to conventions and they're trying to like, bag in as many pieces as you can in a weekend. You're only solely taking walk-ups. Why is this convention dead? It's always, this convention's popping every year. Next thing you know, sponsored by Aero banner, by the main stage, by the entrance, Aero flyers. Aero has its own tattoo aftercare. No, it doesn't. I'm just making all this up. I don't know if it has merch. I'm making that up also, but I'm trying to put the picture so that you understand what we're in it, guys. I'm not saying let's go, join forces with Aero or like see it. I get it. It's a novelty, dude. I would go there and I'm curious. I want to know the artists that are going to carry Aero in their shop or something like this system. It has all the backlash. There's a lot of, it's pretty bizarre. It's a curious thing. It's a printer for the skin. Literally it's here. And we've all joked about it. We've all I've even referred a few artists as printers because they do some insane by the picture reference tattoos and they pull it off and it's amazing. AI is here. It's been here. It's only now just evolving and it's going to continue to grow. Who knows what is going to be the next? I mean, it is what it is. I talked about it with the guys from Blue Label. I said, who knows where tattoo's going to head or tattooing is going to go until we get there. That's how we find out. We're just going to have to let it ride. It's here. Stuff like this is here. What are your opinions on it? A lot of the guys that uphold tradition, they are very obviously against it. But what do you do? What do you do? There's no voting against it. There's no boycotting it. People are still going to go sit down and get tattooed by Aero, purchase Aero as an appliance at your household, bring Aero into the shop. Aero he's going to have a relationship. Someone's going to want to marry this thing, dude. I'm being serious. People are so disconnected and out of touch. People are trying to marry Chat GPT and she'll accept it or he, doesn't matter. Now this is all blown out of proportion. The industry is evolving. Tattooing is always going to be the same. The people coming into the industry or artists themselves are the ones that are going to evolve or do things different. I mean, it's here and we gotta take it. We gotta just make peace with it. There's a robot now at Bang NYC. I already knew of these systems. I already knew about this. People were trying to bring this in at a few locations, but now it's like it's a real thing. It's here. So it's now at a shop where it's a well-known shop. Now it has a home and a location at this shop, right? This is the first, but not the last. This is the very first version of this robot that has already probably evolved. They probably have one in Miami, Texas, Cali, Vegas. You get the point. Overseas. I know people out there that would get tattooed by this guy. There's an audience for that, like the same way there's an audience for you as an artist, your clients, that's your audience, right? Your group of clients, you're their arrow. There's a demographic of people that are down to get tattooed. They're going to be open to it. They're going to go sit down, make their appointment. They're going to go get a tattoo done by this robot. That's just another thing that is being introduced to this industry. The comments and the response to these robot tattoos are all over the place. There are artists that have never touched an iPad when they first started. Now they have also shifted gears, changed directions, and only use an iPad for everything, or not only, but an iPad is a great tool to them now. The change in technology with tattooing is a part of them now. Like they are accepting that change, they are moving with that change. They aren't stuck in, like some are in their own traditional aspect. A lot of artists are embracing Aero. A lot of artists are embracing this technological advancement. There's practicality in it. There's use in the tech. There is a positive way to use it, and there is a helpful, practical way to have this technology. That's where I stand with it. Where do you stand with it? From dropping a stencil machine to just going stencil printer combo, using an iPad to design and create the homegrown Nabil, Joseph, Cabello. They still have that organic raw art. They still practice and finesse that tool of hand drawn, hand design, hand painting. When it comes to the composition of a layout or tattoo design, they rely more so on the practicality of an iPad. I think that's where I stand. Black Dot's device has about 250 test tattoos. Yeah, so I feel like that's where I am with as far as adaptability is the practicality of the use of tech when it comes to our machines and actually getting down to business and working. That's where I am 100% with the whole tech. AI is just I feel like as long as you're using it as a tool, I feel like nowadays we're finding a way to blend some tradition with this innovative technological advancements. There's a lot of common sense that I feel like the line is drawn for the robots. The question of, as an artist, are you worried? It's kind of irrelevant. I feel like I mean, we're in it, guys. We have to, we're in this. This is where, this is just this is what it is today. This is where we're at. This is where we are today in this day of life. This is where we are. Um, there's evolution of technology, advancements of technology. The way I use technology in tattooing, personally, I feel I'm using it with a purpose. I'm using it for the time that you're saving. I feel like the tech, and you're speaking about it, I do have that belief in the value of preserving this, like preserving the creative soul of tattooing. I feel like tattooing is all about experience. To play both sides, I feel Arrow getting tattooed by these robots would be an experience. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And my personal experiences in life and this industry and this whole like career, tattooing and tattoos, it's all about experience. It's all about the client really does make this career. A lot of gratitude towards that. A lot of gratitude towards the clients that sit and experience this time getting this tattoo, this piece done by you. All you can do is just do the very best of your abilities and continue to do what you do. If you have not already, check out some of the previous episodes. Some of the previous episodes, a lot of the artists talk about their path and their journey, like their start in this industry. And we do touch basis on this whole AI narrative, how they've implemented it in their use, in their day-to-day use of, while they're tattooing and this whole in their process. So with that, guys, this has been Tattooing Out Loud, solo cast for the first time. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are on this controversy. Would you get tattooed by this robot? Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you see this as a flop? Do you see this as is this gonna kind of, you think it's gonna get far? You think it's going to crash and burn? Again, we don't know what's to come. We don't know what the next thing is gonna be, but stay tuned for the next episode. We are going to be highlighting the Art Shelf nonprofit. Artist and owner Willard and his partner D are going to be on there talking about community and their shop, the history of the shop. That's next to come, guys. Stay up to date on that. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Later.